that. Okay, just got a couple more things here. Video capture. Okay, there we go. There. Okay, that should be a little bit better. Cool. Cool. Okay. Yeah, if anyone's here in the room, if you can hear me okay, just give me like a thumbs up in the chat or something like that, just because I'm trying to make sure this is all thumbs up correct. Chat or something like that, just because I'm trying to make sure this is all correct. Why does my chat not stay up? Cool. Okay. Oh, okay. You guys can hear me okay? Oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't know what the problem was. I mean, I have it all set up. I was in there. I was live, but YouTube wasn't picking it up. Like YouTube, I don't know what. I'm not the best at this. I'm trying to get better, but I had everything up. I clicked the same thing I've been always doing. Clicked live, and it just wouldn't. Oh, it's just. Oh, it's always it's always something I gotta do. I just want to make sure I give people the chance. I'll wait another minute or two. Let me also let's see here. Can I type in this chat? 1 second. I'm gonna put also in the link here the data set. Cool. Okay. Okay, yeah. So in there should be the data set and everything echoing for some reason. Let me take a look. Echoing. Is it a bad echo? You can tell me if it's bad or not. It should be better now because I exited out of what was it? There shouldn't be an echo now because I temporarily had to open up this my stream open for a second, so you probably heard my voice double for like a little bit. Okay, yeah, good, thank you. Yeah, because I had it open for like 4 or 5 seconds, so that's all good. But yeah, so in that link I sent right there is what we'll be working with. You can see it right here too. This is kind of like the sheet we'll be working with for today, and I apologize for getting on so late. I need to fix this for future use because this is not acceptable on my end, especially it's a little bit messy for sure. So I'm just also going to have open the other link just so in case I see anyone in there in the next minute or two that shouldn't be over there, I'll make sure that they find their way over here. But basically what we're going to be doing for this is something that I do. This is something actually a project I did pretty recently. And cool. Okay, that should be good now. Okay, yeah, we're good. So this is a project I kind of did recently for my company. I've been at my company now for about a month now at this point, and the main part of my job is working with. It's in healthcare. It's a mental health benefit company, but I work more on the revenue side of things. So my whole point of my job is to report on our business, how we're performing revenue-wise, how our sales are doing, and how could we just improve for better use in the future. Second thing, too, it's really bad weather here. So, of course, that's why I try to get started on time, that in case it's bad weather and I somehow gets a little choppy or goes out, you'll know what happened. So I'm going to try to go a little bit quicker than I did before. So what we have here, and I'm going to go through the data set here in a little bit, is we have, of course, this is gonna be our front. I know it's a little bit of a confusion right now with all these boxes and everything, but just so our information will go there, so we're not spending hours on hours formatting things perfectly. But we have 3 separate tables of information here. We have our revenue table, which this is different accounts. Also, let me specify this too. This is based off the year 2023. Okay, so what we're trying to do is we're trying to present this to our stakeholders and say, okay, in the year 2023, how did our business perform on a quarterly basis? And we're going to be looking at 3 different aspects. Our total revenue that we made, the churn, which churn is if you're in a subscription type business where you're paying on a monthly or yearly basis. Churn is when you're losing customers. So it'll be determining, okay, each month what accounts left our company that no longer is with us. And expenses will be many different types of expenses like paying for employees, technology, and all that stuff. And through that, we're going to figure out exactly how our business performed and to give some insight into how we're doing and what we could be doing in the future. There are many ways we can go about this. It can be done quarterly, annually, monthly, but I'm trying to make this like a specific, realistic task that's given out. So this is the revenue side. So this is all the different accounts, the month that they started in, and then also the amount that was there. And I actually forgot. That'd be good. Yeah, that should be good, actually. Next up is the churn, which is the account, the month that they stopped using our service, and the amount that their account was worth that they were paying on a yearly basis. And expenses will be the different type of expense. So some are rent, utilities, the month that it occurred in, and how much it was, and also the expense category, whether it's fixed, meaning it's a consistently paid expense, or variable, which is something that could change on a monthly basis. It's completely random depending on what happens within the business. Now, there is one thing I forgot to do when I was moving this over. So if you all don't mind and follow along with me to make sure that this just goes smoothly, okay? If you have any questions about I do, just let me know, but this will take 10 seconds to do. So when you go to revenue, you'll have account name, month, and amount. There needs to be a 4th column with, just call it revenue type. We call it that, revenue type. And there's going to be 2 types of revenue we're going to be looking at. There's going to be bookings, which are brand new business, and then renewals, which is companies that have used us in the past that are going to use us again. To make this very simple, we're just going to type in the following. The first cell, which is in D2, we're going to just type in bookings. Go down to D3, type in renewals. And just do that one more time. Bookings, renewals. Okay, so it should look like this right now. So bookings, renewals, bookings, renewals. Okay. All we're going to do now is once you have those 4 set, cover it all up, double click in the bottom right, and it'll apply that pattern all the way down. All the way down. There's about 900 in here. Yeah, like 955. So that's all you have to do. So first 4, typing bookings, then renewals, bookings, renewals, and then that creates enough of a pattern that we could apply it to the rest. So you type those 4, double click the bottom right, and it applies all the way down. Because we want to make sure when we look at our dashboards, we do 2 different types of revenue. We want to make sure, okay, how are we performing with new business? How are we performing with, it's really bad weather, with new business, and how are we doing with business that's coming back to us? So far, after looking at this entire data set and everything else here, does anyone have any questions about anything you see here from a data perspective? We don't really care about the dashboard or chart data, but these 3 right here with revenue, churn, and expenses. When looking at this, does anyone have any questions about the data or anything like that? I'll give you guys a little bit of time in case you have any questions. And remember, too, obviously, this is going to be recorded, and I'll make sure to put timestamps on here, too. So in case you ever want to go look back at, what was it? If you want to go look back at this a little bit later, you can. Just double checking this weather since it's extremely bad weather outside. Stream looks good. Cool. Okay. So if we're all good here, so we're gonna start first. Yeah, so I did a lot of this on purpose, right? I did a lot of this on purpose, and I think that the whole point of this is, for this exact project, is if I really wanted to make this as realistic as possible, this would have taken me hours to make this data as realistic as possible, right? So this is really a great project for someone who's just trying to get something on their portfolio or to show some kind of relevant experience. But the text of the month, that's let's say runs as a problem, right? Like someone sent, like we are going to, let's say Salesforce has all this information and it's just by month. And it's like, okay, well, what do we do with that? Right? Like you can't really do as much with that. But at the end of the day, it's not gonna be that big of a deal because the first thing we have to do, it doesn't matter which sheet we do, is we need to give all of these months a quarter. Q1, Q2, Q3, or Q4, right? And it's all jacked up. It's all over the place. This one's all, in one order. This one's all in a perfect order. This one's all messed up too. It's a mess, right? If it was a regular date format, we could get this done no problem. It would be done like 10 seconds. But because it's in this text format and all this stuff, we gotta try to think of a way to label all of this in the simplest way possible without trying to overdo it. So that's what we're going to do first, is we're going to start on the revenue. We have to apply, we're going to basically create a new column for the quarter of what it is. So starting off with this one, I'm just going to type in quarter. And I got to think, how am I going to do this? And there's many ways we can. Now, VLOOKUP, we're going to do something similar to that in a little bit. But sometimes with this, in my opinion, like, we don't have to really do anything too crazy. Like, there's many ways we could figure out a way, okay, how are we going to apply this to each month? We could do a crazy long, like, if formula, or there's many other options. I'm just going to filter for the exact months that I want and just apply it manually. Like, I feel like that's going to take 45 seconds to do. Like, that's not something I don't need to really go and do anything crazy with, because once I do that, then I could do a VLOOKUP or an XLOOKUP off the month here and the quarter and apply to the churn and expenses. So I don't need to do anything too crazy. I feel like I could just go in there, create my own column, filter out what I need. So Q1 would be January, February, March. Filter for those months. Type in Q1, apply it to the rest, and just go on from there. So that's kind of what I'm gonna do. I mean, there's many ways you do it. So if you want to make it, a little bit more carefully done, you could try to do some kind of formula. But for me, I'm just gonna filter out for what I want. So all I'm gonna do here is click into just B1, and I'm going to go to, I'm gonna use my mouse for most of this. So in case I'm not gonna try to use the keyboard shortcuts too much. So we're going to go to data and then to filter. So now each of these have a filter for the top row. All I want to do for this one is go into month. Now the problem with this is it's all text, so it's going to go from A to Z. So it's not going to be so simply January, February, March. So we're going to have to look for this on our own. So I'm going to deselect all of it, and then Q1 is January, February, and March. So let me go to January, February, and March. Click OK. And all I'm going to do for this one is just type in Q1. Nice and simple. And here's me the issue, though. Watch try and do this. Oh. Sometimes, I feel like sometimes I do it goes Q2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It adds up, but you know what? It's coming up as a text. That's why it's doing everything fine. So type in Q1. Oh, man, what's going on here? Let me go back. There you go. So once you type in Q1 for the first one, double click right corner, applies it to the rest. And we can see right now for each of the ones that are February, January, March, it has Q1. Don't have to format it a certain way. Just keep it just like that. So we got that. So we got to think for Q2. What months are in Q2? That is April, May, and June. So let's go do that. April, May, and June. Type in Q2. Why is it? Why is it only playing? Oh, I see. That's where it gets annoying. Whatever. And of course, if you want to do it the old-fashioned way, just drag that thing down, and we're all good. So we got Q2 out of the way. And then for Q3, we got July, August, September. July, August, September. Q3. And that weather is bad outside. I don't know how the weather is about you guys, but the weather here for last week has just been completely all over the place. It's been insane. Then we're done with that. Q4, we have remaining for Q4 would be October, November, and December. October, November, December. Q4. Bring that thing down. Cool. So we're all good there, and let's just apply it all. Do we have any blanks? Nope, we're all good. So now each of these months have the quarter with it, right? This is not a data set where it's going to be all jacked up. The only thing is because it's a text, like instead of going through the process of making it a date or applying a date to it where we could just put, 01/01/2023, we could just go in there and filter out for exactly what we want and just manually apply what we want. There's sometimes you could just do that. You don't have to really make it overly complicated. You don't have to, right? Because this is more simple, like we all know the months of the year. We know if it's quarterly, what fits in each quarter. But if it's something that's a little bit more than that or a little bit more options involved, then yeah, you might want to create a formula for that because that's going to be way too much focus on the manual work. But we're all set here. We can just get rid of this. Control-Shift-L. Get rid of that. So we have our quarters for this one. And now, because each the rest have month on each, we could just do a lookup now off that. So I'm going to do an XLOOKUP off this. I just find XLOOKUP to be the syntax of it to be a little bit easier to understand. Feel free to use a VLOOKUP if you want or index match, whatever you want to do. But I'm just going to do an XLOOKUP because I just find it to be a little bit more simple to understand. But I'm going to apply quarter there. Quarter there. Sorry, my mic's in the way. I can't see the keyboard. So what I'm going to do here, and if I'm going too quick or whatnot, or if you missed something of a question, just please by all means type it into the chat just so I have no problem stopping, trying to help out with anything that comes up. So all I'm going to do now is basically I'm doing XLOOKUP off this specific month here, which is going to return me the quarter that I want. So all I'm going to do for this one is go to equals XLOOKUP. And we can see here in the syntax, where did my chat go? What's going on here? There it is. Okay. So in the syntax here, there's gonna be some values. The lookup value, lookup array, and the return array. So lookup value is okay. What are we specifically looking up? We're looking up the month of January. The lookup array is okay. Where we're trying to pull this in from, where is it located? Is located here on revenue, which is in column B. And okay, so we matched up with this column or this area that we're looking up from. What do we want it to return with? We want to return with column E, which is quarter. And we know there's no blanks. Now, if there were blanks that came in here, there would be the option for if not found, where we could say if it's not found, then say NA or something like that. But in this case, every one of them has a quarter attached to it. We don't need to put anything in there. So we just close it up. Click enter. All the way down, we're good to go. You can see right here, Q1 matches up with January, February, and March. Q2, April, May, and June. August, Q3. November, October, December, Q4. That's why it's a benefit. This is almost like kind of thinking like if you're using SQL. There's almost like a little like database here, right? You have like three different, almost think of it like three different databases. And if you have consistency among your sheets of data, significantly easier to do lookups off it. That's why it's always good to have an idea of where the data can be located, how are they similar, and how can we do lookups off of it to retrieve all of this data. Do you have blanks? You have blanks on right here. So when you on the quarter one over on revenue, you have blanks. Okay. If you have more questions about the blanks, let me know. But if you do have blanks in there, filter out, click on the blanks, and see what wrong. So make sure there should not be blanks in here. Just make sure if you do, see where it went wrong. But as a reminder that for each of the months, clicking on the specific months, filtering all them out, clicking the ones you want, and then manually applying the text you want for the quarter. So if there is a blank, just make sure to double check to see where they're located to make sure that they actually are blanks or not. So, and then yeah, once we get a little bit further in this, if you have more questions about that specifically, I could definitely help you with that because you can still do the rest without some issue here, but I'll definitely help at the end for sure. So we have that all set, and then for the expenses, same exact thing. We could pretty much, we could take the same exact quarter column. Yeah, so if it's like that, I'm not gonna be moving too quickly over the next like few minutes. So you have some time to change up. But just make sure when you go back to revenue, just make sure that the month, January, February, March got Q1, Q2 for the rest, Q3 and Q4. As long as that's all matching up fine, then what was it? Then we're all good. Can I repeat the XLOOKUP? Yes, I can. Yes, I can. So for the XLOOKUP, I'll do that right here for this one. So let me start this over again. So the whole point of the XLOOKUP, right, is think of it like join in SQL. Just like join. I think XLOOKUP, the syntax of it is significantly easier than something like VLOOKUP or index match. So the syntax of XLOOKUP, there's three main parts to it that you need. The rest, if you see that they're in brackets, they're only optional if you need to use it. But XLOOKUP requires three things. Your lookup value, aka what in here are we trying to match with from another sheet or data source. And it's the month of January, right? We're trying to figure out I can do VLOOKUP too. David, yes. Yeah, this is automatically saved to YouTube. That's why I want to do it on YouTube. It's automatically saved. So anything you see on here, you have questions about, you want to rewatch, you even rewatch right now. You can even go click back whenever you want. So, yes, this is completely recorded. So, Michael, after I do this XLOOKUP, I'll do a VLOOKUP too. Just to do that because I should have been more aware of that. So, I'll definitely do that. But for the XLOOKUP for right now, there's three main parts. Your lookup value, lookup array, return array. Lookup value is where in here are we trying to connect? Because we're trying to get the quarter, right? What is going to get us that? What value in here will get us that result? It's going to be the month. So we click on this exact cell for this example, January. Now, okay, we have January, and we also need quarter. Where is that quarter located? It's located on, it could be any of these two, but we're going to go to the first one. Quarter's on this sheet right here. That's going to be the return. Return is what we want to show. Lookup value, lookup array is like, okay, that month of January, where is that located? That's located in column B right here. So it's going to look for the value of January in column B, and it's going to match with that column what the result is in column E. So that is what the That's what the syntax of that would be. Is your lookup value, which is what we're originally looking at, which is the month of January. Where is that month located? Column B right here. And what do we want to return with that when it matches it? Column E. So we see right here, January. If we do this formula, the answer, what we get back, should be Q1. Which if we click enter, we get Q1 right there. So that's all done and good to go. Blanks in quarter column. My numbers don't align. Your numbers don't align. They don't align. They don't align with mine. I believe this is the... Yeah, I mean... Dave, I can help you. Like, if there's a lot of issues somehow with like the numbers and whatnot, we could definitely chat afterwards about this to try to get that figured out for you too. But yeah, so that's the XLOOKUP. Now here's the problem. Why did XLOOKUP? This is where VLOOKUP becomes a problem, because so if you have 3 and 2 at the top, just make sure that when you filter out for the months, January, February, March, Q1, drag it all the way down to apply those. But if you're doing VLOOKUP with this is where it becomes a problem. Because VLOOKUP, it needs that value to be in the first column for it to work. The issue with this, month is in the second column. So this is going to be a little bit more complicated than it has to be. So the lookup value for this one, which is it's going to be the same thing as XLOOKUP, where it's going to be the month. The table array, this is where